Hi everyone, and welcome to another update from Parkinson's Queensland. Today I'd like to introduce you to our third and final PhD grant recipient, Chiemeka Chinaka. Chiemeka completed his Bachelor of Biological Science at the Queensland University of Technology and then went to the University of the Sunshine Coast where he did an honours year with first class honours and obtained a degree in science in 2018. He then, interestingly, went on to work as a neurotechnician at the Brain Treatment Centre of Australia and then in 2021 attained a Rotary International Scholarship to do his PhD at the Queensland Brain Institute, part of the University of Queensland, specifically to study health benefits and economic consequences of deep brain stimulation for Parkinson's disease patients. So, Chiemeka, welcome to Parkinson's Queensland. Congratulations on being one of our grant recipients, and we're really excited to have you here and to learn more about your project. So perhaps you can share with our audience, firstly, I guess, what drew you to DBS and Parkinson's and looking at the economic benefits, and then you can tell us a little bit about the project itself.
Okay, thanks Miguel, and thank you to everyone at Parkinson's Queensland for having me today and for giving me this opportunity to be one of the scholarship recipients. My journey to health outcomes and health economics research is a very interesting one because my original pathway was along the lines of biological sciences and just core science. I used to be in the lab full time. My honors was 1 year in the lab doing microbiology studies. However, when I finished, when I was studying as a student, as an undergrad and honor student, I used to work as a caregiver, a paid caregiver, initially in a nursing home, and then I went on to work with a child that has autism. And it was through him, because he used to receive treatment at a brain treatment center. The treatment was transcranial magnetic stimulation, non-invasive. And that was sort of my introduction into the world of health technology as it pertains to the brain. And through taking him there, obviously I had a degree in science. I eventually got a job there working as a neurotechnician. And what we do as part of our job before and after treatment is that we take measurements to see if the patients are receiving the health outcomes that we and they desire to receive from the treatment. We record EEGs, we take scores and scales of how they're improving, questionnaires to them and to their parents. And mostly for the children that had autism and ADHD, it would be their parents that filled this out. And it sort of gave me an insight into the impact of different conditions on not just the patients, but also on their caregivers, like the parents. And it was that while I was working there, I was obviously still looking for places to do my PhD, and eventually I saw this project that spoke to me, in a way that I'm already working with patients and looking at obviously helping them to see if they can get better outcomes of their conditions. And that the project that came out was this one with Parkinson's for deep brain stimulation, where we'll be focusing on looking at the outcomes, but also looking at the economic impacts of technology like deep brain stimulation on not just on the patients, but on their caregivers, and also at a larger scale on the whole Australian society. So that was what made me apply for the project, and luckily I got in, and here we are today.
Yeah. And so, look, as an organisation like ours, like Parkinson's Queensland, we do a lot of advocacy work to the government, both state and federal, and so data like this on the economic benefit of treatment with people with Parkinson's, I guess, is really, really important. What sort of things are you looking for through the project?
Okay, the main, sort of the first things that we try to look at is look at how we're managing Parkinson's, how we've been managing Parkinson's in Australia. We map out the journey of an individual from diagnosis until the advanced stages of Parkinson's. And we try to look at all the different interventions that come into the mix. And then we, for the initial stage of the project, try to look at the demand for these different interventions. using available Medicare and PBS, Medicare and the Pharmaceutical Benefit Scheme data to sort of look at how these interventions have sort of changed over time, and then using some specific techniques, to project how these interventions would look like, or the utilization of these interventions would look like in the future. So that is one part of the project. It's like a forecasting section of the project. Now, when we do that, we know, okay, we expect that in 10 years, the whole of Australia will be using DBS at this level, and how has different health shocks such as COVID and other things impacted on the utilization? Has it impacted the Parkinson's disease patients more than it has impacted patients in other disease groups? We look at that. That is one section. Another section is that we look at the health outcomes of these individuals. We have actual patients who we've recruited from, with the help of Professor Silburn and all the people at Neurosciences Queensland. We've recruited patients there who will now be able to access their health outcomes data, quality of life data, but also, most importantly, health economics data, where we can look at how much benefits are being through Medicare as well. We look at how much the cost of illness of these different intervention groups, where we have the medication groups, so individuals who are solely on medication, and individuals who are on medication but also were able to get deep brain stimulation at some point in their Parkinson's journey. And then we compare how the cost of illness and the health outcomes have changed, between these different groups, and see if getting deep brain stimulation provides a value for money for these individuals, given maybe the time that they've been able to use that deep brain stimulation. If it's say, if a person stays for 10 years on deep brain stimulation, does it provide better value for money compared to 5 years or compared to 2 years, right?
Which is really important information and data, particularly for government to know, should they be investing more in those kinds of treatments. So really, really important. Look, thank you for coming in. Thank you for the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
Really important work. Certainly, we're really keen to know, what some of the results are, because as an organisation that advocates for people with Parkinson's, it's really important for us. So we're really excited to be able to support your project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, and congratulations again.
Yeah.
And you'll hear more from Chiemeka. We'll get him back in later in the year so he can share some more updates on how the project's going, and some more information about some of the results that are coming through. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Miguel. Appreciate it.
Bye everyone. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye for now.